Hockey coach. Okay.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Episode 109 here of the Pucknologists on Teal Town, USA. Oh, we're going to be talking about some things. But remember, do us a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit us up on your favorite podcast platform. Follow our forms of social media. I'm sure you're aware of all of them. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. You can ping us for that special Discord invite. Remember, if you ever miss a show, you can catch it on your favorite podcast platform, everything on YouTube, and everything on tealtownusa.com. Tonight, we've got one Ms. Rocket Backhander, and finally, our man, Dan. Let's get into it. How you guys doing? What's going? Oy, 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 oy. What a hell of a couple weeks it has been. Have you enjoyed the hockey so far over these 2 weeks, Rock?
Yeah.
That's confidence inspiring. Hockey jerk.
You know, I'm really excited that we're back. You know, I'm excited to get this preseason preview done. Wait, what do you mean it's still last year? I thought this was the preseason preview.
All right, so we know what happened in round 3. Tampa takes care of the Islanders in 6 games. Did this last longer than some of us might have expected? Perhaps. But I know, Jerk, you seem to, I don't know. What's your take? Do you think Barzal was banged up and just stuff didn't roll? Or do you think Tampa is right where they should be?
Well, I think in this case, I think two things can be true. You know, they showed Barzal on the bench. Oh, God. I think it was either during Game 4 or Game 5. But, like, you know, his nose kind of looked like he had spent an hour, like, blowing it with paper towels. And I think he had, like, a cut on his face. And he just looked like he looked done. Like, he looked like he was like, no matter what I do, it just doesn't work, you know? And so I think him not being at full gas obviously sucks for them, but also, you know, even though Tampa Bay kind of played with their food in this series a little bit, they're still a very elite team, and I think a smart person picked them to win this series, but I think you're right, where it definitely went a bit longer than it probably should have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rocket, for your Eastern Conference matchup, I mean, what did you think of the Full Sail bubble hockey?
That the Islanders are probably the most boring group of men to ever skate the game of hockey in the history of the game. Holy shit, they are boring. They're boring as hell. They're boring. That was the most boring Eastern Conference final. I was bored. I mean, like, okay, by the 4th overtime, maybe not so much, but like before that, bored.
Well, yeah, and the problem was Tampa Bay scored all of their goals in the first game.
Fair.
You're correct, sir. Let's move on to, well, first, Tampa Bay, they touched their Prince of Wales trophy. Oh, my God. Who knows what that means? Nothing. And I forgot to mention this earlier on, so I'll say it now. Remember, during the live shows, if you would like to support, you can use the Super Chat option to donate, or you can use Venmo at Teal Town USA. So there you go. Just forgot that one little part earlier. Dallas versus Vancouver. Let's be honest, this is the one that I really wanted to talk about. Game 1, you know, Dallas.
Do you mean Dallas versus Vegas?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dallas versus Vegas. Yeah. Again, I still feel like Vancouver should have won that series.
I agree.
I would have preferred that.
Same.
Dallas wins 1-0. VGK goes 4 straight without a goal scored by a forward at 5-on-5. Fleury, I don't know. I think he lost his last game as a Knight. And I don't know. Are we just gonna hang here? What are we up to? We don't know.
I thought the mascot revealed. Whoa! And you know what that sound
I'm
means?
sorry. Our time is up. Yikes.
Hold on a second.
Wow.
Good Lord. All right.
You know what that sound means? It's time for the super secret fun zone.
It's time for the password. The password is.
I think Rocket's laundry is done.
Yeah, I think that could be it. Yay! So now that Rock has returned, I hate when that happens. Game 2, VGK would shut out the Stars. Oh, they got absolutely owned. Hudobin gets yanked. Who? And then since then, it's just been all Dallas all the time. 3-2 in overtime. Bizarrely in this one, Dallas challenges for goalie interference and gets denied. Somehow the Sharks were called for this, like almost the exact same thing in the playoffs. And fine, whatever. Dallas scores 31 seconds into overtime on a great feed from Pavs to Radulov. Game 4, of course, Dallas 2, Vegas 1. Pavs tying it up. Midway through the second, would screen Leonard on the second goal. Only 4 goals for Dallas in the first 3 games. Power play 0 for 5 at this point. Then in Game 5, Dallas 3, VGK 2, another one that goes to overtime. Once again, Vegas taking a lead into the third period that they can't hold on to, losing in overtime on a Gurianov goal. Zach Whitecloud cries as his delay of game penalty leads to the game winner. In this one, the power play 2 for 4 for Dallas. VGK 0 for 3. Again, VGK unable to come back from being down 3-1 in a series. If you only knew how simple it was. The Vegas can't blame the refs in this one, guys. Dallas power play 3 for 13, although they had 2 in Game 5. Vegas 3 for 22. So Vegas had almost twice as many power play opportunities. So you can't blame the refs for this one, guys. Sorry. So Rocket, I'll start with you. Is Vegas perhaps starting to get a choker label?
No, I think this is a sad instance, at least in this case. This is a sad instance of Pete DeBoer hockey in full form. They weren't getting any shots to the front of the net at all. And for the amount of time that they had possession of the puck, they didn't get any shots off. It was a lot of pass, line blender, pass, line blender. So that's to me, it was like, this looks familiar. So I don't really necessarily think it was the team. I think it was the coach.
Well, what changes for Vegas, Jerk? I mean, they blow a 3-1 lead last season. They got knocked out in 5 this season, despite being the overwhelming favorite going into the Final Four. What, aside from Fleury being gone?
I don't know. It's kind of tough because the way this Vegas team was built, like, they were built to win a Stanley Cup. They had 2 number 1 goalies. They had a really good blue line. They have a really good group of forwards. I think ultimately what it boils down to is just the injuries. You know what I mean? Mark Stone. Mark Stone's their best player. He had a bad wheel, for the whole conference final. Riley Smith wasn't doing what he's been doing prior to the Western Conference Final. Same with Max Pacioretty. Same with Jonathan Marchessault. So I think the choker label, I think it might be a little too soon to assign that. I think in this case, it's just a matter of they were just too banged up to do anything. I'm certainly not shedding any tears for them. But that's just the way it is, and I think you're saying, what do you change? I mean, I don't know. I think maybe 1 or 2 forwards maybe get sent out just to make room for some guys coming up. But if I'm Kelly McCrimmon, who's their GM, I'm making very little changes to that team because it's still built to win.
I think Ryan Reeves had 6 minutes in that last one. Do you think he's still on this team?
I mean, he did sign a contract extension during the pause, so I would say yes.
I wonder if he gets shall we say, exposed. I don't know.
Dude, he's going to be on the Sharks next year. Don't you know? They're going to claim him on waivers because they need some of that Michael Haley toughness.
Oh, God.
Christ almighty.
God, if that happens, I'm going to have to just step away from the table for a season or 2.
And Ryan Reeves actually signed a 2-year extension, so we'll get him for even longer when we claim him on waivers.
Great.
And if you've left this this podcast, I'm so sorry.
Dallas does not touch the Campbell Trophy, so what again means nothing. Cracks me up. Performance-wise, when it comes to former Sharks, Pavelski 1 goal, 1 assist, but they were pretty goddamn meaningful. The 1 goal tied Game 4, the 1 assist, the overtime game winner in Game 3. Barclay Goodrow, on the other hand, lazy bastard, 6 games, 1 assist. Now, was it a pretty significant assist in Game 6? Yeah, but anyhow.
Probably the most significant.
Could be. Guy has starting to build a little reputation for showing up in overtime. From somebody named Puck Guy, he gave us $1.99. That was pleasant. Because nobody hit Vancouver. Anyway. But let's talk about the one thing that, of course, means so much to me. Are these like the worst conference champions hats you've ever seen in your life? Holy crap, dude. Fanatics turned around and said, okay, we're going to take a bunch of leftover Hockey Fights cancer caps, right? Because I don't understand what the purple tint on the front, I don't know if that's just a photo thing that they screwed up on or if that's the way the hat actually looks. But it's clear they just said, okay, we just need a run of black hats, and then we're just going to like heat press or glue some crappy looking, boring patches on the front of them, and there you go. Like,
you know what those are? Those are Minecraft hats.
They suck. I mean, you look at the championship hat that I have from the Sharks back in 2016, it's full-blown stitched, the logo, everything sharp. This, it's like, wow, this is just, man, everything that Fanatics does is on the cheap. I swear to God. But I would be remiss if I don't at least add that I could sum up the entire Vegas-Dallas series in a single photo. I think I kind of go with that. Just Pavelski having Marchessault bent over. I think that is probably just about right.
Fair.
Love it. Love it.
Feels good to me. So we now have our Stanley Cup Final matchup. I mean, going into this one, because of the Murphy's Law that the Sharks have gone through from the beginning of this season, I just assume that Tampa's going to win just to make it so that first round pick that Wilson got for Goody is just one more rung lower. You know what I mean? But
shut up.
So, Rock, are you rooting for Pavelski? Are you rooting for Goodrow? Or do you just not even care?
Look, I think as a Sharks fan, this is a win. Period. These two those little cosmonauts have been shot into space, and now they're both fixing to take steps on another planet. And so for us, as having watched these guys and supported them throughout their careers, I think that this is a no-lose situation if you're a Sharks fan, I think. So for me, personally, I am sort of pushing for Goody because I think it would be a really nice middle finger to everybody that kept him in the doghouse for such a long time.
Jerk.
Well, talking about that Murphy's Law the Sharks experienced this season, I mean, if you're going to keep with that theme, neither Tampa Bay nor Dallas would win this series, but here we are. This one is a very hard choice for me. I've always been kind of a Tampa mark, if you will, and I like the Lightning. I think they're a good team, but everybody here knows how much I love Joe Pavelski, so it's tough. As Rocket would say, I just want both teams to have fun. Whoever wins, whoever loses, I don't really care. I just don't want to be bored out of my mind watching this series. And I don't know. That's really all I have to say about it. I mean,
one game in, it hasn't been too boring.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very surprised that Dallas kind of dunked on Tampa Bay a little bit to start, but if you follow me on Twitter, you saw that I think Dallas is going to win this series. So,
and even though Dallas is taking game 1, I'm still thinking that Tampa could do. The head says Tampa, the heart wants Dallas. We'll see what happens. And the reason why I asked about the rooting for Pabs thing is because I've seen a contingent on social media that are they're just like, to hell with Pabs. It's like, if you're not a Shark, I don't root for you. I don't care who who you are, what you did, but I don't like Marlowe.
How dare you earn a raise and then take said raise? How dare you? Like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah. How dare you go to the team that was going to give you that third year that you wanted? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I guarantee you, these same people are just like, oh yeah, Patty, oh Patty, oh Patty.
No, it's just like if they're not wearing teal, don't care. And I'm like, man, there's certain players I think you kind of have to feel for. Everybody knows I'm a huge Pavs guy, so of course I'm rooting for this guy. But does a Pavelski, does the image of Pavelski holding the cup over his head, wearing a Dallas Stars sweater, does that make Wilson's seat maybe a little warm? Rightly or wrongly?
No.
You don't think there's going to be a contingent of fans, again, rightly or wrongly, that will come out and be like, well, should have kept Pavs, as if that means that the Sharks would have, that it would have been different.
So as you both know, I know people, and I checked with those people, and as it turns out, you can only be the GM of one team. And Doug Wilson is not,
but I don't believe it.
Doug Wilson is not the GM of Dallas, which means no matter what Dallas does, his job should not be affected by that. That said, if Hasso-Plattner is taking his job and hiring advice from fans, maybe he should sell the team.
I would prefer if he did not do that, because Hasso is willing to spend the big money. So either way, a couple other things. Hurricanes going full Stars stands on Twitter. I don't know what that is about.
They posted a poll yesterday asking their followers who they should root for.
Oh, okay. Cute. Makes sense. All right.
Love it.
So we have seen game one already played. Dallas 4, Tampa Bay 1. No points for Pavs. Goodrow does get an assist on the single Tampa Bay goal. Hudobin stopping 35 of 36. Since being yanked in game 2 versus Vegas, Hudobin has posted a .959 save percentage.
Is that good?
Might be good. Hashtag might be good. I mean, Jerk, can anyone else be considered for the Smythe if Dallas wins?
You could probably make the argument for Miro Heiskanen.
Okay, I was going to say if you said Ben,
Jamie Benn. Yeah, I feel like Jamie Benn would probably be your third choice, but I don't know how it's not Anton Hudobin. I mean, based on what Ben Bishop did in the playoffs, like Dallas would have lost in the qualifying round if Bishop was in net. So,
dude, that's what I'm worried about. Like, I'm worried that Tampa, if they get down 2-0, they're going to be like, we have to run Hudobin. Get Bishop into this game. Too sweet, my friends.
Well, Bishop's not even fit to play because he was unfit to play and then gets, I think it was game 5 against the Avalanche, and the Avalanche go up 5 bagel and Bishop gets pulled, and then Bishop's unfit to play again. Like, I didn't know that a hurt ego. I didn't know that was under that criteria of, the injury specifications.
Yikes.
You're going to feel real bad when it comes out after the season that Ben Bishop's leg has been removed and just replaced with a couple of popsicle sticks and 3 endangered otters or something like that. You're going to be real upset.
He's not actually Ben Bishop. He's just 3 12-year-olds standing on each other under a trench coat.
Well, all missing their front teeth.
It's funny you bring that up because if you look at a Ben Bishop who's 6'5", 6'6", the guy is huge.
6'7".
Jesus.
Huge.
Yeah. So Martin Jones, 6'4". I mean, we went through that long run where it seemed like every hockey goalie had to be a second string basketball height. I don't know what that is about. And then what's Hudobin, 5'10" with the skates on? And he's just stopping everything. So maybe it's okay, maybe height really doesn't have to do that much with that. Maybe if you're just good, you're just good. Arturs Irbe was 5'6" on a decent day? And he had a couple of good seasons, so Just
well, and they've and to your point, I don't know if you listen, if either of you listen to TSN Overdrive, but they were saying on God, I want to say it was Wednesday's episode last week. They literally said that Hudobin looks like your beer league goalie, like he's got like the butt or the gut and the receding hairline, and he just looks like your beer league goalie, but he's like stopping everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Speaking of the opposite of amazing, can we just talk about Doc Emmerich for 5 seconds?
Oh no, please don't. No, please, can we just?
Christ almighty.
Can't we just encase him in cement and dump him in some water and get it over with, please?
Someone tweeted exactly what he said at one point. And when somebody says something like in the moment or whatever, I'm sure it's like in your head, it probably sounds one particular way, and it probably sounds quite well. But then when you read it written down, you kind of have to go, what the hell is this guy doing? He literally put, if you can believe this, we are 9 minutes played into the second period so far, 20 minutes played in the first for a total of 29 minutes. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
We got their numbers.
Are you serious? Do yourselves a favor, kids. Just go watch Sportsnet. Do it now. Thank me later. Because yikes, dumb. And again, this is another polarizing figure. And this is the funny thing is there are certain people out there, and again, it's subjective, but there's a certain amount of people out there that are just like, oh my God, Doc Emmerich is playoff hockey. You know, it's not the playoffs unless Doc is calling it. And then there's a whole bunch of other people that go, oh my God, he's the Joe Buck. Like for some reason, he's at the top, even though he's one of the worst. So
okay, the people who love Doc are the ones who don't watch regular season hockey ever at all.
Probably right.
Yeah.
Well, and you know why that is, right?
Because they're not hockey fans.
Because regular season doesn't matter.
Well,
Had to
how did I know?
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. Talk to a Canadian. I'm just saying. Every Canadian I've spoken to, and I haven't like spoken to the entire population, but the few that I have, they all think Emmerich sucks, that he's horrible. So anyway, let's move on to some, oh, wait a minute. Do we have some Sharks things to talk about? This is a Sharks podcast after all. Pierre LeBrun reporting that the Sharks will finally announce that the interim tag has been removed from Bob Boughner. This is supposed to happen in a week or two or so, even though, like, Darren Drager reported this, 2 months ago. Of course, there's been no leak of any details yet because it hasn't been officially announced, but I'm interested to know how long the deal is, how much rope he's going to get if the Sharks have another slow start. Remember, there are still some people out there. Now, do the Sharks ever look at Mike Babcock? That's going to be a no. Gerard Gallant, that would be insanely karma. That would be insane karma. Do you think the Sharks missed out on Laviolette?
No.
Show your work.
Okay, you've seen the meme of Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man?
Yes.
Like Peter DeBoer and Peter Laviolette. That's essentially what that is. It's the same. Like, okay, just to give you an idea, okay? Let me paint a picture for you.
Yeah, but it seems like DeBoer does his best work in the first year where Laviolette takes a couple years.
I would disagree with that. I think they're both very similar. I mean, I think
stats don't bear that out.
Well, that's fair. But I look at the thing that I look at is you look at the personnel that Nashville has. I mean, 1 through 4, one of the best blue lines in the league. I mean, a top 6 that's really good. Like, god damn. I mean, Duchesne, Arvidsson, Forsberg, Johansson, Granlund, all those guys. Kyle Turris. 31 out of 31 on the power play.
Then you look at their goaltending duo. Holy shit.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like their blue line and their forwards are so good, and their power play is so bad. Like the Sharks make their money on the power play. There's no way Laviolette would thrive here. That's how I see it.
I got you.
Fair.
Let's move on to a quick Reddit query. Is Shimmick going to be an expansion draft casualty?
I mean, anything's possible.
Well, to put it out there, the deals for Karlsson and Vlasic stipulate they must be protected. Mario Ferraro would be exempt. Would the Sharks expose a 36-year-old Burns over a 28-year-old Shimmick if the Sharks are unable to deal Burns beforehand? I don't know.
I just, no matter what happens, I think if you're exposing Burns to Seattle, you should probably get fired.
Yes. If you do not get value for this guy, there's a serious problem.
And as I hate to say this because obviously all three of us love Radim Shimmick. I mean, this podcast literally started the hashtag Miss You Shimmick.
Mm-hmm.
But guys like Shimmick are dime a dozen. Like,
Shut your whore mouth.
You lose Radim Shimmick, you can find a bottom six defenseman who skates well and hits. You can find those guys.
Yeah, but can you find the straw that stirs the Sharks' drinks?
Yeah,
in the bottom six.
His name is Erik Karlsson.
Shut your whore mouth.
This drink is disgusting.
Yeah,
I'd like to speak to a manager.
I didn't say how good the drink tasted. I just said that he stirred it.
Dog shit.
Well, our buddy Shang over at San Jose Hockey Now spoke with a couple of scouts about who's most tradable among Vlasic, Burns, and EK65. The consensus seemed to be Burns, which I think is unsurprising. If the Sharks are out of the playoff picture come the next deadline, which would not surprise me in the least, wouldn't Burns be an interesting piece for a competing team?
If they're competitive, sure.
I think the point in Burns' favor, or I should say for the Sharks' favor in moving Burns is, and we've talked about it, where it's like, Burns is one of the few players where he gets better with age. All of his best seasons have come after the age of 31, and which very rarely happens. And even then, every season has, with the exception of this past year, every season has been better than the previous. And obviously if you follow him on Instagram, he's very passionate about fitness. He eats a well-balanced diet. He does everything he needs to do the right way. I don't want to say he's Nick Lidstrom or Chris Chelios, but I still think he's an elite level player at 36, which you don't see very often. And if the Sharks decide that he doesn't fit in the picture for them, I think there'd be a lot of other teams that do. I mean, you listen to any hockey podcast, hockey radio show, people can't say enough about the need for right-handed defensemen. And that's what Brent Burns is.
Yeah. And there's, I guess there could be a lot to be said for a defenseman who actually kills what he eats.
Hey, at least what he's putting in his body. At least he's not. After the game, he's not. He's not rolling over to In-N-Out Burger and getting a couple double doubles to inhale on the plane. You know what I mean?
Hashtag no free ads.
Of course, no free ads.
I would love an In-N-Out Burger right now, you guys. Holy moly!
Sponsor.
Yeah.
No free ads.
The most disconcerting piece of this article, though, was Scout 3 saying Burns was way off the mark, but it looked like it was the losing that was bothering him. I didn't care much for Vlasic this year, but Karlsson didn't know where the fuck he was. That's an actual quote from a scout. I don't know that when you're the highest paid defenseman in the league, that is your reputation from a scout is probably a good thing.
I can see what he's saying though. That's an accurate assessment of Erik Karlsson though.
Yeah, but probably not the assessment you want for the guy making the most money on your team. If you're Dylan Gambrell, maybe you're going, yeah, I'm still trying to find my way.
If you're Mirko Mueller, you're still lost.
Surprised he knows how to get to the arena in the morning.
Poor kid.
Oh, man. All right. Let's move on to some bits and bytes here. Robin Leonard has reportedly agreed to a 5x5 extension. Still nothing's official yet. Probably didn't help the room for when it comes to the Golden Knights that information came out during the bubble hockey play. But either way, Fleury is likely gone. I mean, I'll put this to both of you, but Rocket, do you think when Fleury leaves this organization that he'll be allowed to take the DeBoer sword that was in his back with him?
Yeah, I think he will be allowed to. And I think that he's going to go to Aaron Brothers and get it framed and matted, something, really nice, and have it put over his mantle.
Is Aaron Brothers still a thing?
I think so.
I don't know if Michael's bought everything. I don't know. Aaron or Michael, one of them.
Oh, okay.
One of those two. All right. So I do believe that Jerk might have some things to say about Arizona and Minnesota.
Well, okay, real quick about this Robin Leonard thing.
Let her rip.
Obviously, like, the only people who know what's going on in the organization are the people in the organization, right? But I thought it was funny, a little, I don't even know what to call it, but so, the fourth period, Dave Pagnotta, is the one who broke the Robin Leonard extension. It's not signed, it's a verbal agreement, 5 years, $5 million a season.
Mm-hmm.
And made it a point to say that it's only a verbal agreement at this point, not signed.
Yeah.
So you fast forward to, I think it was either the pregame or the postgame Zoom call, and Robin Leonard says nothing's been signed. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what the report said, that it was a verbal agreement. Like, you're, so I mean, I know what he meant, but still, it's just like, he literally said what everybody else said, which made me laugh. But yeah, so Arizona, they've done a lot wrong during the, well, not them, the people who work for them have done a lot wrong over the summer, the fall, whatever the hell we're calling this now. But they hired their new GM. Sounds like he's very committed, to the job. He's certainly not going to leverage a new opportunity and then not take it and then tamper with other players and all that stuff. He's not going to do anything bad. But what I thought was pretty funny is in the Coyotes press release, they do the whole, oh, we've hired this guy. He's really good at this. He's going to do this for us. But in the middle of the press release, and in a substantially bigger font than the rest of the press release, they put, he is a man of integrity. Now, to me, that is a total shot at John Chaika. And for those listening, if you don't remember, John Chaika...
Is he the one that's responsible for the Arizona getting pee-pee slapped for the combine policies?
Yeah,
Yes.
he illegally combine tested draft-eligible prospects and then quit before he was reprimanded for it officially. And so, I said this on the pod when we recorded 2 weeks ago, Arizona loses a first and a second round pick for the actions of somebody who doesn't work for them anymore. Which, it happens. We've all been there. But yeah, Minnesota clearly, they're clearly pissed at how the last few years have gone. The new GM, Bill Guerin, former Shark, as AJ knows. He nods his head, trying not to remember 2007.
I'm just still pissed about what we gave up and how little we got out of them, but go ahead.
Yeah, so Minnesota doing just about everything. They traded Eric Stahl to Buffalo for Marcus Johansson, which I think solid trade for Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo finally gets somebody not named Jack Eichel who can do things. I don't know what the hell Minnesota was doing there. I mean, of course, trust the process. He runs the team. I don't, so what do I know? But from the outside, it doesn't look very good. For now.
You may run it in a couple years. We'll see.
Sure. They also announced they're not going to be re-signing Mikko Koivu, which doesn't really come as a surprise. I mean, he's just old. He's been injured a lot, but it's kind of a big deal. One of my good buddies is a Minnesota Wild fan, and the way he explained it to me was, if Joe Thornton just walked away, you know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing. Mikko Koivu is kind of like that first pillar of their franchise, if you will, the first captain in their history. I don't quote me on this, but I believe he leads their franchise in scoring. So obviously a big piece of them, and he's, out the door there. I don't know if he's going to retire or not. They also acquired Nick Bjugstad from Pittsburgh for a conditional 7th. But if Bjugstad doesn't play in 70 games or score 35 points, Minnesota doesn't even have to give up a draft pick at all.
Wow.
And I'm wondering if this is a product of the flat cap for the next at least 1 to 3 years, forcing cap crunch teams to dump players for whatever they can.
Okay. F you 2020. I'm just saying.
And then Minnesota again. They re-signed Jared Spurgeon, 7 years, $6 million a season. Again, my buddy who's a Minnesota Wild fan, says Jared Spurgeon is the best defensive defenseman in the league. He corroborated that fact with some numbers and data and charts and all that fun stuff. And I think the eye test confirms that as well. I mean, it's, a hell of a deal for them. I think it makes Matt Dumba expendable. I don't think that's indicative of his talent or his skill. I just think it's a matter of, they have a very expensive blue line and they don't have an NHL caliber center.
Yeah.
So they have a lot to figure out. But they're doing things, which I think if you're a fan of a team who just hired a new GM, like, you want them to be doing things. You know what I mean?
Oh, boy. Arizona and Minnesota. You guys are fun to watch. The Caps, we talked about Laviolette earlier. The Capitals hire Laviolette as their head coach for the next 3 years, replacing Todd Reardon, who, of course, replaced Barry Trotz after winning their first Stanley Cup. Sure. Jim Montgomery gets an assistant gig with the St. Louis Blues. You'll remember Jim got the old Spanish Archer early last December for unprofessional conduct for substance abuse issues, 32 games into his second season as a Stars coach. Hopefully the former Shark can turn it around. The Ottawa Senators unveiled their new old logo, jersey, something, on October 6th. It was leaked like a month ago. Whatevs. It's still the ugliest logo in the East, in my opinion.
I think the Florida Panthers would like a word.
Oh, okay. No, I think I'd still go Senators because, and for those of you watching the video portion of this, I'd like to show you the difference between the Ottawa logo. Here's what it's like today. Here's what it'll be like on October 6th. Fascinating, isn't it? Jesus. And based on their Twitter, the Calgary Flames are joining the party and announcing something on October 5th. Of course, if you followed Jerk on Twitter, you knew about what this was a year and a half ago. Of course. Which begs the question, when are the Sharks finally going to announce what's going on with their jerseys for their 30th anniversary season next year? It's like we speculated on this last January. If you go to the Adidas website or the abhorrent NHL shop, you will find an extremely limited edition of Sharks jerseys. Adidas.com actually has had the Sharks teal jerseys for half off for quite some time now. You might also remember last February going into March, the Sharks store was running a big sale on stealth jerseys. Kids, just to let you know, part of retail, if you're not replenishing your stock, it's pretty indicative that change is on the horizon. So, in the words of Hockey Jerk, San Jose, whip it out! Come on. Sources say contract talks between the St. Louis Blues and Blues captain Alex Pietrangelo have broken off. The team has advised Petro to pursue unrestricted free agency. How did that work for the last team that couldn't get something done with their captain, Rocket?
Who was that?
I think his name is Joe Pavelski.
Okay. Yeah, I thought maybe that was like some other. I mean, if he's gonna walk, he's gonna walk. Man deserves a paycheck. Man's gonna get paid.
Tall hockey man gets money.
I mean, put your feelings in your back pocket and remember this is a business. There you go.
Well, if you listen to our buddies over at Let's Go Blues, they're just kind of like, dude, we got our cup. Go ahead, bye.
Well, and I think too, I think the Blues are more equipped to lose Petro. I mean, they bring in Justin Falk and extend him. They bring in Marco Scandella and extend him. They still have Colton Parayko. I mean, even without Petro, the right side of their blue line is very, very good. And, we kind of, the three of us, we kind of, snapped it around a little bit. Oh, could Petro maybe go to Vegas? I don't think that's in the cards anymore. But I think with Petro, it's going to be a situation where even teams, it's going to be similar to John Tavares, I think, where even teams who can't afford him and don't have room for him are going to want a seat at the table just to talk to him. You know,
Or
I mean,
perhaps drive the price up, make him a little more expensive for the team who takes him.
that too. And you know what? And again, if you have to whip out the internet, that's fine. I'll let you do that. But do either of you happen to know what handedness Petro is? Perhaps.
I'm gonna
Perhaps
just go and say right.
You might be correct. That might be true. No way to know for sure, obviously.
He's ambidextrous. He uses two
Yeah.
different sticks.
But it's kind of what I was going back to earlier, right? Where it's like, elite defensemen are at a premium already, and you have a right-handed elite defenseman, like, he's, big bucks. That's all I'm going to say. Like, I'm honestly, if I'm Petro,
He shoots right.
yeah, exactly. And if I'm Petro, whoever I'm meeting with, whether Vegas or Vancouver, Toronto, whoever the hell signs him, I'm going on to Cap Friendly. I'm doing a little search of Erik Karlsson, and I'm like, this.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I mean, the Erik Karlsson has scored much more than Alex Pietrangelo has, but a right-handed defenseman, skates very well, does everything right, and I would argue has been better than Erik Karlsson the last 2 years. I don't know how you don't at least ask for that.
I know. See, and that's the thing that I think could make things, again, rightly or wrongly. Everybody's going to have, if you're a jerk, everybody's going to have their one take, and it's either going to be the right one or the stupid one. But there's already been talk about people looking at the future of next season, and you've looked at what's happened in the bubble playoffs. It's like, man, look at Cale Makar, look at Quinn Hughes. Like, these guys are just amazing. You got John Carlson, who's, I think the likely pick to win the Norris this season, but they're talking about the Norris for next season. They're mentioning 5 different. They're even talking about who was it, jerk? You mentioned him at one point. Was it Yossi? Heiskanen, yes, Heiskanen. So you've got Makar, Heiskanen, Hughes, or whatever. You know what name is not being bandied about?
Erik Karlsson.
The most expensive defenseman. That's a little disconcerting, but
we got 7 more years on the deal. Just give it time.
All right, let it percolate.
Okay.
Oh, I know words.
Let it percolate.
I know words. I have the best words.
Speaking of the best words, Yoel Shellman. Oh, where is he? And isn't he playing with some lower level team now?
Yeah, so our friend Shang, love him. Hello, Shang, if you're watching or listening. Shang reported that Yoel Shellman is starting the year in the Allsvenskan with. I spent about 5 minutes on Google Translate trying to figure out how to pronounce this. I think it's Chihanstas or Shrihanstas. I really tried, guys. If that's wrong, I'm sorry. But it's a team in the Allsvenskan, and they're the farm team of Shellman's hometown team, which I think that's just a cool little detail because, obviously going back to his roots. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe Shellman kicked up a bunch of cash to his hometown SHL team so they could continue to operate. So I think that's just a cool little story. And, before anybody freaks out, his deal with in the Allsvenskan, there's an NHL out. As soon as training camp for the Sharks starts, he's coming right back over. But I think it's smart for these guys who can go over, to skate around a little bit, snap it around, get that good feeling. Marcus Sorensen, Shang also said Sorensen is rumored to be going over to the Allsvenskan as well. I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that. Bunch of guys with the Barracuda are in various leagues as well. Jonathan Dahlin, Josef Koranash, Manny Wiederer, all going over to Europe until training camp comes back. I think it's smart. If everything goes according to plan, it'll have been 9 months between times that the Sharks and Barracuda have touched the ice. If that's if everything goes according to plan. For all we know,
if Hurdle and Carlson aren't 100,000% right after all that time off the ice.
Yeah, no kidding.
What was the name of this?
Help.
What was the name of what?
The thing that you tried to figure out on Google Translate or whatever?
Oh, the name of the team he played with. It's spelt like Christian with a K and then Stads at the end of it. But Google Translate, I think it's Chihanstas or Shihanstas. I couldn't really tell. She was talking too fast.
This is a city, or this is like the new single from Rammstein?
Ha, ha, ha.
Du hast. Anyway. Finally, when will the next season start? Anybody? Initial
December
reports.
15th,
See?
2022.
Didn't you hear?
Jesus
didn't you hear
Christ.
there's? Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't you hear everybody in the world will have a vaccine by 2024? That's when it's gonna come back.
Yeah.
They're gonna play the 2021 season in 2024. They're gonna play 3 seasons in 1 calendar year.
No, they're gonna play. They're gonna play one of those seasons all on EHL Sports.
Christ.
It's gonna be a virtual season. Oh Jesus. Okay.
We can get NFL Sunday Ticket through DirecTV, or you can get NHL Center Ice on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Initial report said December 1st. Bettman and Daly recently hinted it could be pushed back to late September or even January. We could start. Who is it? Who is it? Was it Minnesota that had? Who's got the game in January? The outdoor.
It's Minnesota and I want to say St. Louis who has the Winter Classic.
Oh, that would make sense.
That's frigid.
I
It's
mean,
a frigid meeting.
maybe
Minnesota and St. Louis. And by the way, not to brag or anything, but I had a ticket to that game, so hopefully there's a vaccine by then. Go ahead.
So, I guess we'll see if Minnesota and St. Louis that starts the season. That would be nice. I guess
That'd be cool.
Place your bets. I mean, Rocket. If we say it's January 1st, like that's our starting point. You've got a wallet full of cash. You have to put it on before January 1st or after. Which way are you going?
After. Actually, no. You know what? Oh gosh. I'm gonna say.
You are the
I'm gonna-
person that pisses off roulette wheel spinners.
I know. This is why I don't. This is why I stay away from table games. I'm a slot person. No, I think this is probably gonna be before January 1st, but it'll be late December.
All right. If you're our resident craps person, jerk.
Well, you know what? Normally, when the puck's off, normally you don't want to roll. You don't want to roll aces because 1 and 1 you lose your bet when the puck is off. But
Hence
I'm gonna
crapping
say
out.
also crapping out. Unless you throw down on aces, then you do want that. And in this case, I'm gonna throw down $10 on aces. 1-1, January 1. I think that's when the season's starting.
All right.
Cool.
We'll allow it. Yeah.
Oh man, all I can hear is a yo 11.
No. Give me that pass line. Give me that 5-6-9 on the field. We're rolling.
Always bet the come if you're into that.
This has been the San Jose Sharks gambling corner.
So
Cocktails, beverages.
I think we're just about to wrap this up. And hey, this is the closest we've come to a tight 45, possibly ever. I'm pretty proud. If you were unaware, we recently had a little talk with former Sharks defenseman Dan Boyle. Go check that out. Recently had talks with Sonia Tydiko from NBCSN Bay Area Sports, former Shark Rob Zettler, all-star MVP legend John Scott. So those are sitting there on the YouTube channel. Go check those out. We will be back with you whenever the Stanley Cup Final is completed, whenever that, in fact, may be. And then after that, you probably won't see the Pucknologists for a hot minute, but it's not like Teal Town, like we won't have some things to say because, Christ almighty, there are free agency things to discuss, draft dates, all sorts of interesting, fun.
Eric also made us choose our favorite jerseys way back when.
Oh, that's right. We still have a show that Jerk, Puck Guy, and myself have to put together where we select we did a draft for the best and worst third jerseys, right? Or alternate jerseys.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I was going to say, if you're a big nerd, that's where you want to be.
That's some quarantine shit right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised Oh God, what's the guy who
Down
ranks
goes Brown.
Yeah. I'm surprised Down Goes Brown hasn't already done 3 articles on this.
Seriously, I'm shocked too. You just gave him his next article.
top,
Watch.
top 31 jerseys, top 31 home jerseys in the league.
You won't believe number 17.
Dude, hey, Jerk, I heard there's a Pavelski size hole in the Sharks lineup and only one guy can fill it. Do you know who that might be?
I'm starting to wonder if it's Joe Pavelski.
I mean, you might be right.
Could be. I mean, there's no way to know for sure.
Christ almighty. Please, NBC Sports Bay Area website, come on. Just try. That's all we ask. Just try. Christ almighty. Any final things here? Oh, we have to, we're not selling these, but I think everybody should buy one. Just saying, if you don't own the Joe Exotic Pavelski shirt, go get yourself some. Go get yourself. If you're not going to get a Pavelski jersey, at least go get one of these, man. They're too cool.
Poor guy. He's just bound to be associated with cats between the Joe Pavelski
Right?
That is solid.
and the yeah.
Dude.
And the Tiger King reference.
That's
Poor
some,
man.
That's good knowledge right there. You sound like you could be an informed fan.
This show is not for me then.
So, Rocket, despite that it being like printed right here on the graphics, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on social media at rbackhander76. That's over on Twitter.com, talking about, I don't know, like hockey and every so often like makeup and like goofy, what do they call it, pop culture and stuff. And yeah, I got a new job. I work at a hardware store. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be jokes about soffits and tape measures on there eventually. So prepare yourselves for some dad humor. Oh, God. And also check out my pictures on Instagram. Again, like I said, just got this new gig, and some of the stuff that's in the store is ridiculous. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be just like popping off here pretty soon with some weird photographs of like uncut keys and crap like that. So yeah, give me a follow over at Rocket Backhander, one word on Instagram. That's it, AJ.
Dad humor? What's Forrest Gump's computer password?
What?
1, Forrest, 1.
That's terrible.
And that is your lead-in, Jerk.
See, I would have laughed at that if it was funny.
Ah!
I'm just kidding. Okay, so little bit.
I'm trying to
Rocket,
think, but nothing happens.
Rocket, let me give you some. You mentioned uncut keys. Let me let you in on a little secret.
Jesus Christ.
If somebody brings you a key that says "do not copy" on it, that doesn't mean cannot copy. Just so you know. Okay, obviously, follow me on Twitter at @hockey_jerk. We're talking about hockey. We're talking hockey. Yeah, obviously the San Jose Sharks, San Jose Barracuda, whenever they come back, the NHL. God, if I can get my ass up at 7 a.m. to watch the KHL, that. I'll leave you with a fun story. If you are like me and like AJ and probably like Rocket, and you like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, sponsor, no free ads. You can go to Target and you can get yourself a bag of 6 2-packs for $5, which is 12 cups. Solid deal. Or if you go a little deeper into the candy aisle, you can find a bag of 60 cups, which is 5 times the amount, and it's only double the price. That's your tip for the week. Back to you, AJ.
But can you tell me who Reese's is following on Twitter?
Well,
Just saying.
Not anybody fun, I'm sure.
Hysterical.
They should, let's be honest, they should be following 2 accounts. Jif Peanut Butter, Hershey's Chocolate. That's it. That's it. I'm AJ_Strong on all the social media. That's where you can find me over there. Do us a favor. Be safe. Be healthy. Wash your damn hands. Wear a goddamn mask, for Christ's sake. And this is the end of episode 109, the round 3 wrap-up. Again, we will find you after the Stanley Cup has been held high and proudly by one Mr. Joe Pavelski. That's when we're coming back. If that does not happen, we'll probably still come back, but we're just not going to be as happy about it. That's all. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to keep telling myself it's fine.
Fine. It's all
fine.
fine.
It's
You
fine.
win either way, AJ.
Oh, I kind of feel like I don't, but all right. Have a good night, everybody.